All right, even problems for 6-5's homework assignment. All right, so we're going to go introduce our complex planes. So we have imaginary numbers in the y direction, and we have all our real numbers listed in the x direction. So if we were going to plot -8 plus 3i, -8 is our real number, so we'll go left 8, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3i is our imaginary part, so we'll go up 3, and there is our plotted point right there. Okay, so this point here is -8, comma, 3i. Next problem, 20. We're going to do the same thing. It's a little more complicated, but not by much. We can distribute this 5/2 in to both parts of our parentheses. So on 20, if we were to graph this, 5/2 times √3 is about 4.7. Put it in your calculator. And -5/2 is about -2.5. Well, it is -2.5. So that's going to end up being right there. So we'll have 5√3 over 2, comma, -5/2i. If we distribute the 5/2. All right, and so we also want to find the trig form of this number. What that means is we want to find what the hypotenuse, the radius, if we're thinking about the unit circle, that sort of thing, just the distance from the origin to that point. And we also want to find the angle theta in here. All right, so we're going to find the hypotenuse first. And so if we do that with the distance formula, Pythagorean formula. So let's see what we got here. 5 times 5 is 25 times 3 is 75 over 2. Sorry, 2 squared is not 2. 2 squared is 4. 5 times 5 is 25 over 4 again. So if we add those together, we'll have the square root of 100 over 4, which is 10 over 2, which is just 5. So our distance here, we use the word, the letter r for our distance. We're going to say r is 5. Also need the angle that we've created. And so at this point we should be comfortable saying we're going to use the inverse tangent of y over x to figure out our angle. So theta equals inverse tan negative, and I'm just going to use the 1 because this 5/2 is going to cancel out. So -1 over √3. Okay, and if we plug that in, we can go to our unit circle also, or just plug that in. You're going to end up with 330 degrees. So our final answer in trig form is 5 parentheses cosine 330, because remember cosine will get us the x degrees, plus I sine 330 degrees. Now this is a lot of writing coming out here. Not a lot of writing, but a little bit. But we do have an abbreviation for this. Instead of saying cosine and I sine of the same angle, it's going to be 330 here, we can write 5 CIS 330 is our shorthand. All right, so let me clear that off, and we'll get 30 going here. All right, problem 30, 8 plus 3i. This is easy to graph. We're going to go right 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're going to go up 3 right there. And so that's 8 comma 3i. Let's find our r, the distance. R is going to be the square root of 8 squared plus 3 squared, which is square root of 64 plus 9, which is the square root of 73. We'll leave it just like that. Let's find our theta. Theta is the inverse tangent of 3, the y value, the I value, over 8. Plug that into your calculator, and you should come up with 0.36. Is that right, or is it 36? I wrote it down here, but let me check. Inverse tan of 3 over 8. Oh, sorry, that's in radians. If you're in degrees, which we probably all are, it's 20.56 degrees. For our theta, all right, so let's write that out in trig form. We're going to have root 73 cosine 20.56 degrees plus I sine 20.56 degrees. In the shorthand, we could just write root 73 CIS 20.56 degrees. Problem 40. All right. We're going to go backwards. This is in the trig form. We're going to go backwards into the standard form, and then we're going to graph it. So let's take a look. Cosine of pi over 2, that's 90 degrees, that's 0. Plus I, the sine at 90 degrees, is 1. We'll distribute this in. We'll get 0 plus 8i. Or we can just write 8i. Don't have to have that 0 placeholder. So if we were to graph this, we wouldn't go sideways at all. We would just go up 7, 8 spots. And that's where we would be on the complex number plane. All right, problem 50. So we're going to start multiplying here. So we're going to multiply 1/2 cosine 100, I sine 100, times 4/5 CIS 300. So here's what we do. We're going to multiply the R numbers on the outside. 1/2 times 4/5, and we're going to get 4/10, which reduces down to 2/5. We're going to add the angles. CIS 100 plus 300 gives us CIS 400. And we're going to subtract 360. We're going to get an angle between 0 and 360. So subtract 360, and we'll get just 40 degrees. All right, and that's our answer in trig form. 2/5 CIS of 40. All right, let me stop here and save it, and I'll create a second video for the second half of the problems.